Greetings. We continue our study in the book of Revelation today. We're looking at Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 through 10, considering the subject, the rising of the first beast. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his heads 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. They worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. In Daniel chapter 2, 4 kingdoms were described from a worldly perspective. Gold representing Babylon, silver representing Medo-Persia, bronze representing the Greek Empire, and iron representing the Roman Empire. However, in Daniel 7, these same 4 kingdoms are identified from a heavenly perspective. As Babylon as a lion, as Medo-Persia as a bear, as Greece as a leopard, and the Roman as an awesome or terrible beast. I submit there is no contradiction in these descriptions. There is a luster and lure to the eye as it gazes upon the external temporary aspects of these kingdoms as in Daniel 2. Yet at the same time, if these same kingdoms are viewed internally and eternally, the heinous nature of these beasts appear as in Daniel chapter 7. We have much the same before us in the book of Revelation. Remember in Revelation 6, in the breaking of the seals, we were introduced to a world leader and his cabinet, we would probably call it today, which will come forth onto the scene. Now in Revelation 13, we have a closer look at this same world leader. In Revelation 6, it was a casual look at the externals by which the world will be deceived. But now in Revelation 13, we'll be given a discerning look at the internal nature and workings of this beast to whom the world has yielded absolute power. Before we proceed to the rising of the first beast, let me offer a disclaimer on certain doubts and debates concerning this passage. In some manuscripts it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, is given as Revelation 12:18. In these manuscripts, it is done so instead of it being a part of Revelation 13:1. Also, in some manuscripts, the third person singular pronoun is used instead of the first person pronoun. Well, I would never trivialize God's word, but such debate is simply overemphasized here. If it is the first person singular, then it refers to John standing upon the sand of the sea. If it's the third person singular, then it refers to the dragon standing upon the sand of the sea. However, if you will read the passage closely, the emphasis is not upon whom was standing where, rather the emphasis is on what John saw. And what John saw was the rising of the unholy Trinity upon the earth. We were introduced to the great red dragon in Revelation 12. Now we're introduced to the beast out of the sea in Revelation 13, 1 through 10. Then we will be introduced to the beast out of the earth in Revelation 13, 11 through 18. These three personages, as working in harmony, will be the counterfeit Godhead, which will rule over and deceive the world for 7 years, the 70th week of Daniel's prophecy concerning Israel and Jerusalem. Notice the recognition of the first beast in Revelation 13:1. And I, John, was stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and 10 crowns upon the horns of him, and upon the heads of him of name of blasphemy. Now it's generally conceded that the sea is symbolic, and that is of necessity, of the human race. Revelation 20 and verse 8 refers to the number of the population of the earth as, quote, the sand of the sea, which phrase you might remember God used in conversation with Abraham concerning the number of seed which God would give to Abraham in Genesis 22:17. What is important to recognize here is that this first beast is a human being which rises to prominence out of the mass of humanity. The prophecy of Daniel 7 through 9, 20 through 22, and 24 through 28 are linked to what is happening here. In the very beginning of the 7-year period, there will be 10 domains, that is, governmental areas or kingdoms, and 10 rulers. Then one of the 10 will subdue 3 others, which will then leave only 7 heads. Now, this is not rocket science. It's not mystical. It's not mysterious. It's plain and simple statement of God's word and applied mathematics. Note that names of blasphemy were upon each of these heads. These are temporary usurpers of Christ's kingdom. These are temporary usurpers of Christ's glory and majesty, and this is by definition blasphemy.